Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about preparing for a mediation and thinking through your options. So as you get toward that date of the mediation, you want to be thinking and preparing for the mediation before you actually get there. So in terms of your needs and your wants and your expectations, what is your very bottom line? Meaning, what is a deal breaker for you? If you absolutely don't get your bottom line in that negotiation and you're willing to walk away, what does that look like for you? So whether you're talking about the parenting plan, child or spousal support, property division, or any other issues that you might be thinking about, what is your absolute bare minimum that you need to achieve in that negotiation? Then I want you to think through what is your ideal scenario. So in the best case scenario, the best day possible, you win everything that you want. What does that look like? And then I want you to write that down. And then I want you to think through a couple more scenarios that are somewhere in the middle of each end of the spectrum. So somewhere that's better than your worst case scenario, but you're prepared to accept it, and something that's not as great as your best day, but you're also willing to accept that. And then I want you to think through the exact same scenarios, but from your partner or ex-partner's position. So what do you anticipate will be their bottom line? What do you anticipate is their best scenario? And then again, a couple of things in between. And now I want you to compare those different scenarios. And again, this is building up to the mediation. You haven't attended the mediation yet, but you're preparing for what's about to come. You know your spouse the best. You know how they feel about certain issues. You know what to expect from them in the negotiation. You know what their bottom line is going to be. You know where they're going to dig their heels in the sand, and you know what they're really hoping for, which may not necessarily be something that you agree to. But the idea here is to really put some thought into how this mediation is going to go, because if you can come prepared with counter offers, so if you offer something and they don't buy it, they don't go for it, but you have maybe another option that maybe not as good as you were hoping for, but you're still willing to accept it, that's a really great bargaining tactic. You are sitting there prepared with different alternatives, different options that you can throw at them when they may squash one of your other options that you've put forward. So have a number of different options in your mind, and that's a strategy. And write them down. So don't feel like you have to show up at the mediation and hope that you're going to remember stuff. Don't worry about it. Just write down whatever you need to write down to remember the things that you need. And the other thing you need to do prior to a mediation is seek legal advice. You really need to understand what the family law says about the different topics that you need to discuss, and you need to know what your rights and your obligations are. Knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have up front, the more power you have, and the more confident you will feel in your position in the mediation, because you know what you are legitimately allowed to ask for and what is required of them. So if they come at you with something that's totally unreasonable given what the law says, you'll know it. And so you will counter offer them with something that is more fair in the eyes of the law, and also something that works better for you in your eyes. So when we talk about the different positions, we talk about what is your best alternative to a negotiated settlement. And that basically means, what are you prepared to accept in that mediation that would be better than a different option, meaning going to court? If you ended up in court, what does the law say would happen? And the thing you need to remember is you can never predict what a judge is going to order in a courtroom. You don't know which judge you're going to get that day. You don't know what their perspective may be on certain issues. There's always a risk that you're not going to get what you want, or you don't win, because you just never know. So what is your best alternative? If you're in this mediation and you're trying really hard to agree on something, is a better alternative to go to court? In many scenarios, it is absolutely not a better alternative to go to court, but you need to think through, if I don't get this agreement here, what's going to happen? What are my options? What are the alternatives? What happens in a different venue other than mediation? And that often can work as an incentive to both of you to really bear down and work really hard to agree on something. And remember, it's a mediation, it's a divorce. No one's ever going to be fully happy. You can't be fully happy in a divorce. What you can be is you can come up with solutions for your family that fit your needs, that are flexible, that make sense in your situation, and you can be able to sleep at night based on those things that you agree on. So go into the mediation prepared, think through strategies, know the law, know what you need to know going into that mediation, and be prepared to counter with different options and different offers to try to encourage your partner and yourself to come up with a resolution so that you can avoid court, avoid spending a ton of money on legal fees, and ultimately resolve reasonably quickly, affordably, and in a spot where you're both reasonably happy, you're not fighting like cats and dogs, and you can just move on with your life. Have a great day. Until next time, I'm Neelam Dahl, and my company is called Simple Solutions Mediation. Thank you.